wins his next show. Round one. What was it? And then it's the very last. Did we share this?
Sure like to welcome everyone this morning to the Arizona National Purebred Gilt Show, and really looking forward to a great day of studying hogs and a beautiful facility. I think a nice way to start our drive here in our youngest class of Berkshire Gilts, and I sure think the gilt that most appropriately matches skeletal design, foot and bone relative to body mass and agility. Young man's over here to my left is going to start this class. I really like this gilt. Looks juvenile and immature in terms of her age. I like where her joints are, and I like her continuation. I think fits very, very well. Young man here that's going to be second, got a bold power gilt out here in terms of making Berkshires with that extra bit of stout of blade and back and hip. Really, really like that gilt going away, and on a profile she designs up pretty good. When she comes at me, she'll be a little out in her forearm, a little closed up at the ground. Want to change where that forearm and front foot assembly is just a nickel, but that's an attractive headed, big and bold Berkshire. Got an interesting breeding piece coming out here in third in terms of stoutness of skull and feature. Like this Gilt's ham loin hookup. I think she's built good up high. She's a little quick in her step on both ends of her skeleton. Want to make that just a nickel more comfortable, but where she's good, she's pretty interesting, kind of a Berkshire female to study in terms of making better Berks. Really a young, immature gilt comes next, and weight per day of age, difficult to know where to put this gilt. Good design, good look, a little flat in terms of her body shape. Want to open her up there just a shade, and then when she goes away, drop her hind leg just a little more consistently to the ground. Big, bold, mature gilt for her age comes out next. Heavy built in terms of her forearm and foot, a little coarser in terms of her ham loin hookup. She goes right away. I want to make sure that hind leg sits in her just a little differently than what it does. Love her feature, love her stoutness and muscle. We let 6 through 9 roll out just a little bit. There's a sale tomorrow night, and so maybe some of these gilts might not make the sale. I'm not sure how that all fits together, but I think there's quality. Meet the young people, get to know about their projects. Got a nice build gilt here from a side view. Not enough physical build and flank, and not opened up enough. Got a gilt that was late to the class here. Not as correct on her hind leg, but a big attractive gilt with some look. And our final pair of gilts down here, extra stout, wide, and bold. Where do you want to fit in terms of hip and hind leg structures? Up to you. To me, for me personally, in a Berkshire population, not quite stable enough behind. Good way to start our class. My compliments to the exhibitors.
Now we're in the ring class 2 Berks. The birth dates are April 8th to May 29th. Results from class 1 in 10th place, Wiley Schwebach. In 9th place, Lily Benefield. In 8th place, Matthew Bailey. In 7th, Aiden Schwebach. In 6th, Parker Franz. In 5th place, Garrett Olney from California. In 4th place, Josh Reese from Kansas. In 3rd place, Caitlin Wetzler from Oregon. In 2nd, Martin Svetberg from Arizona. And your Class 1 or Class 1 Berks, Creighton Hirschfield from Nebraska. You do have about 40 minutes to get your cross gilt and all barrel weight cards turned in to the superintendent's office. That office is outside on the north side of the hog barn, back behind the announcer stand. It is outside the superintendent's office. Again, you have about 40 minutes to get your weight cards turned in. At the conclusion of each breed show, Dr. Hogue will select the top 5 of each breed. That will help us narrow down the sale list from this for tomorrow afternoon. It does not mean you will make the sale. It will just help us put the order together. So if you place in the top 3 or 4 of your class, you should be ready to come back to the show ring for Dr. Hogue to pick the top 5 of each breed. So out of that first class this morning, Bert, if you were that 3rd place, Caitlin Wetzler, be getting your animal ready. As Dr. Hogue selects the top 5 of each breed, you may need to come back into the show ring. For the Gilt sale, at the conclusion of the Crossbred show tomorrow, we will have Dr. Hogue and the show committee put together a sale order. We obviously won't know those results until the Cross Gilt show ends tomorrow. But for you that have a top 5 in each breed, be prepared, as Dr. Hogue could select your hog to participate in the Gilt sale tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. right here in the hog barn.
You got a radar. Okay. When you go back, you have a radar. So get that on and then put it on media. So if I need you, I can get you there. Let's see what makes.
so big.
Thank you.
Madison. Hey, get in here and go.
Without a doubt, here in our second of two Berkshire classes, there are Berkshires of every type and kind within this particular group, and so depending on how you want to build your Berkshire females at home in a breeding population, you can sure find one out here that suits you very, very well because they're all different kinds out here. The pair that I'm trying to study between the first and second is the young man and the young lady out here, and I think they feature some trade-offs. In my opinion, I like the young man's Gilt, a little sharper, a little more uniquely built up to her head and front end, and I think she's the most functional in terms of her length of rump out here that we have. I like the extra bit of hind leg density and feature the young lady's Gilt has, and I think that's the trade-offs as we go back and forth between them. I watch them come and go, and I ask myself which one of these is just the denser, just more pure stout generator. For me personally, I'm going to use the young lady to start a close pair. I think this Gilt just offers more coming at you in terms of blade, in terms of that rib cage, and that is a big stout hind leg that I personally think works pretty good out here. Like the young man's Gilt here, like I said, ear forward. I like her skull, I like the length of front end, and I like her ham-loin hookup. Want to make her just a bit denser in terms of her hind leg stoutness. And when she goes away, I fix it just a nickel going right away. But that's a good, flexible, long-bodied Berkshire Gilt that's got some quality to her. The gilded third, from her hip forward, this one's really as bold and massive in terms of her blade and back shape as any we've got. I like she's flag-tailed. She's a little short in her rump. That correlates to a little quicker step off of her hind leg. like to change how she uses particularly her right hind. But I sure think in a breeding program you make that accordingly. That one's got some unique pieces in terms of throat line, body shape, underline quality. Pretty good Berkshire female there in third. From a profile, this one suits me real well out here. Dense in terms of her foot, dense in terms of her forearm, and yet strong in her pastern. That's hard to do in any breed, let alone Berkshires. You get in behind her, the old honk's just a little vertical there. When she comes at me, I want to square up at her knee just a shade, but a high quality breeding female there also. Another one come out next, really nice in terms of her look and profile. The forearm sets a little far forward, the feet come a little closed up underneath, but a beautiful pattern gilt that I like a good deal from a side view. The most interesting gilt that may sit in this class, and I don't know what to do with her in a sale order, this gilt coming out in 6. I mean, she is wicked in terms of her head, her throat line, and her forearm. That's a little bitty gilt out here with big legs. I'd change her structure behind just a shade, then body her up just a little bit in a show ring setting. Breeding value-wise, I think that one's got some really interesting pieces in a Berkshire population. Big, bold, wide, and stout right here, coming in 7. A little round, a little coarse for me personally, but that thing is opened up and powerful. Got a nice built one coming out in 8 in terms of design and profile. Needs more foot and bone to match her body mass, then stabilize her hock when she goes right away. 9 through 13, we can let them roll out a little quicker pace. Got a Berkshire here that's just a little soft in terms of her shape down her top, but a big body gilt. Couple down the line here, just a little rougher pattern kind of gilts that I didn't think fit together quite as well. Young lady here in the maroon shirt, extra heavy muscle gilt, just got to be sounder. Great class here in Class 2 Berkshires. My compliments to the exhibitors.
First call, Class 1, get for you. First call, Class 1, get for you.
Blazer pocket is stuck in your pocket.
There you go. I'm glad that you
All right, we'll now select the champion Bert Gilt.
That's all I got.
In addition to selecting your champion and reserve champion Bert, Dr. Hogue will select the top 5 of breed. We'll just turn out the next placing gilt in that class as we roll down to get that top 5. The results out of Class 2 in 10th place, Kaylin Young. In 9th place, Ellie Nelson. In 8th, JT Stinson. In 7th place, Ethan McCaig. In 6th place, Deanna Young. In 5th place, Catrice Lane from California. In 4th place, Mari Horwath out of California. In 3rd place, Madison Hart from California. In 2nd, Brendan Sweet from California. And your winner in Class 2, Madison Espasti from California.
Got our pair of Berkshires out here, and I think there's obviously some age and maturity difference between them. And boy, you know, in the back of my mind, I want to do what I believe in out here in terms of alignment, but I sure don't want to mess up anybody's sale order either, and I think that adds an element to it out here. Lightweight gilt, or the younger gilt out here, I think is as good in their build as any we've had within this Berkshire population, and I think as indicators to me read she's only going to get better with time. I like that gilt a good deal. Our older gilt out here won a competitive class. Those top 5 or 6 in that class are really just big, bold, stout, strong kind of gilts, and hard to deny that extra bit of feature, that extra bit of boldness and substance. We're going to use the young lady that wins the older class for champion Berkshire. I thought it was a close pair. As a result, we're going to keep this Gilt out. Comes in second, a little paler skin, but extra good build, extra good running gear. Reserves right here, the young man in the second class.
Hey, Jack. Come here. Come here. Oh, come
Second class 1, set to the 8. Second class 1, set to the 8.
So, good news is this might hide you.
The 2019 Arizona National Livestock Show went to Madison Esposti from California. Your reserve champion Berkshire went to Brandon Sweat from California. And rounding out your top 5 Berks, your third high was Creighton Hirschfield from Nebraska. Your fourth high was Madison Hart from California. And your fifth high Berk was Marty Horloff from California. We're now showing Class 3 Chester White Gilts. Birth dates range from June 10th to July 20th.
Ready when you are.
All of you know we wouldn't be able to put this on without them. I'd like to thank Glitter Dust, W&W Paul Scales, Paul Flex, Western Ag Life Magazine, and Solomon Supply. Again, we wouldn't be able to put this show on without our sponsors, so we thank them very much.
There's a lag.
You have about 15 minutes to get your barrow and cross gilt weight cards turned in. And as you look in your packet, those weight cards are blue. Some are light blue, some are dark blue.
I don't think it's
Some are for Barras, some are for Cross Gilt. So we need all weight cards. That is Barras and Gilts. All weight cards by 9 a.m.
Obviously, maybe we have all the other numbers. Yeah. The little corner logo is on. I think we have one, but no, it goes in the bottom corner. That
All class winners today will be receiving a 14-inch clip-on feeder thanks to Sullivan Supply. Sullivan Supply, one of our sponsors, and they're giving 14-inch hang feeders to all of our class winners today.
We don't raise Chesters at home. We tried, and I was pretty unsuccessful at it. And I think it's interesting as a population or a breed to study what Chester breeders have done in terms of changing the shape of the head and the ear set a little bit. And there's really some, to me, more modern looking Chesters than some more traditional Chesters in terms of their general appearance. I think this top pair of Gilts out here, extra good. I like both of them a good deal. To me, though, feet and legs in any of these breeds is critically important to start there. I think as you watch these two go back and forth, your class-winning Gilt is the best in terms of her hip, where her hop sits within her framework, and then her reach and range of motion out here. Young man's got your class winner, and a very nice Gilt. I think she's consistent in her views. Comes at you good, goes away good. I prefer the set and break to her ear. I prefer her skull shape relative to the Gilt in second. And I think really nice Gilt to start with there in this particular drive. The young lady's going to be second. We don't have to DNA this Gilt. She is pure Chester because of her attitude out here squealing, and that's indicative sometimes to the breed. Great body shape, great hand loin. Gilt reads really good down her top line. This is an elevated bold Gilt that I still think gets around the ring pretty good out here. When you watch her go right away, she'll tend to be just a little different in her right hind and get it out of her outside of her framework slightly. But I think that's really a high quality, good looking Chester Gilt there in second. The Gilt that comes in third, really another attractive, good looking Chester Gilt, a little lighter eared for me personally. Love that Gilt's tail set where her top line fits together. If you look at her foot and ankle relative to her body mass, she ran out of substance, particularly on her rear leg relative to her top pair, but a really good Gilt in terms of her opening up, big rib, good shape down her top. I like her a good deal. To me, the more traditional Chester sets in forward. This is a big hind leg. This is a functional hip on a Chester Gilt. Big stout Chester brood sow coming, a little plainer up front at the crest to her neck, a little more hesitant off of her front end, but maybe as dense a skeleton and as big a frame as any of those initial four. 5 gets a little crunchier headed, gets a little more jammed up front, but extra good body, extra wide and bold in terms of her center rib. Want to square up in her knee just a little, make her a notch more attractive. The Gilt that comes in 6, heavy boned, big footed, a little forward in her blade and knee. I want to set that back in her, freshen her up front just a little bit. Boy, that thing is dense skeleton and really raw in terms of her shape. I like her feature a good deal. Next Gilt coming at me. I'm like, oh, we got a player, got a good look on the profile. You as a buying public got to decide what you want to do with her hind leg going right away. She's a little stifled there in her right hind. Want to stabilize that. Front 2/3 are really good. Nice, well-presented Gilt coming next. Just a little rounder, a little coarser, but an extra fleshy, big body Gilt. Our final two, the Gilt that comes in 9, actually out of pin 10. Bigger body, bolder made Gilt over the Gilt in 10. Needs more substance, and this Gilt closes out our class just the driest in terms of her rib. Pretty good structure, pretty good extension. Nice class, younger Chester Gilts.
Now in the show ring, Class 4 Chester Gilts. Age range from April 2nd to May 30th. The results from Class 3 Chester White Gilts in 10th place. Haley Travachek. In 9th place, Kimber Cone. In 8th, Devin Calderon. In 7th place, Emily Gray. In 6th, Chloe Mucci. In 5th, Cotton West. In 4th place, Lily Benefield. In 3rd, Selah Salmons. In 2nd place, also was Selah Salmons. And your class winner in Class 3 Chester White Gilts was Leif Benavides. Last call for all weight cards. That's Ferris and Gilts. All the blue cards in your packet, they are due right now in the superintendent's office. Last call, all weight cards.
I mean, it's preferred, but I don't know about fire. Let's look. We're looking at the boat.
Trinity Bulger, or a representative with Trinity Bulger, could you go to the superintendent's office, please? Trinity Bulger to the superintendent's office.
Are you worried about
To be honest with you, I'm kind of trying to get my bearings here. These are big gilts. These gilts can be early Aprils, and boy, you get to add this up. Some of these things are still in their show dress and show appeal, and yet, is it time to be a keeper gilt? And I think maturity and keeping hogs fresh in different breeds, I think, is really challenging. Without a doubt, the most unique gilt that we've got is the little guy's gilt here that's going to start our class. And, she is big, bold, and powerful. And I don't know if you realize how bold she is until you get right in behind her. There's a lot of stuff on that gilt skeleton. And I think what makes her interesting for me to start with is for a big, old, mature gilt, her pasterns has stayed good. The crest of her neck has stayed relatively good. And that is a huge hind leg working in a big, stout breeding gilt that I think is a good place there to start. I like the gilt in second also a good deal. Extra bold and wide and stout and powerful. As we get these show gilts, big and puffy, she's probably started to crest up more than ideal at the top side of her neck. But I really, a gilt that's got some width and volume and substance, pretty solid kind of gilt. I actually like the freshness, the leanness, and the trimness of the gilt that comes in third. This gilt's natural in her shape. She's defined in her muscularity, and I like her flag tail sitting right up there on her back quite well. She'll tend to run downhill just a nickel, then that hind leg will get just a little bit outside itself. I thought there was more genuine shape and generating muscle than the Gilded 4. Gilt 4 is long-bodied, flexible, really loose structure kind of a gilt. Get on top of her, and I want to just make sure there's enough defined shape and muscularity in terms of generating that next set of Chester White Barras. The gilt that comes in 5, good in terms of her basic build and design and balance. To me, just a little flat in her forearm and needs more substance in terms of foot and bone relative to her body mass, and I think that threw her out of proportionality just a little bit. A different story, but kind of the same approach in 6. This gilt is huge, long-bodied and heavy bone. For a big, long-bodied, mature gilt, she's too flat in terms of her hip and stifle. Want to open her up. You kick her out in gilt replacement population. I want to make sure there's still enough just constitution and width in her. Got a nice, attractive gilt coming here. Good shape, just not sound enough in terms of her looseness of structure on either end and a little small in the rear foot. We can let the remainder go and let them out just a little quicker pace. Got a pretty heavy bone gilt here that's just a little lax in her top. Want to strengthen that up. Got a pair of gilts down here on the end. Just not getting around good enough out here. Just got way too tight, way too quick out here in a breeding gilt setting. Good class. My compliments once again to the Chester White exhibitors and our older class.
All right, results on a Class 4 Chesters. In 10th, Joellen Wall. In 9th, Olivia Carson. In 8th place, Kyle Allen. 7th place, Madeline Slate. In 6th place, Port Raleigh. In 5th, from California, Brad Ruport. In 4th place, from Texas, Austin Eilers. In 3rd place, from California, Annalise Perez. In 2nd, Alexis Hernandez from California. And your winner in Class 4, Wyatt Copenhagen from Missouri. We're now selecting the breed champion, reserve breed champion, as well as your top 5 Chester White gilts.
We show a lot of gilts in the summer, our family does, and it's always interesting when you bring gilts off the show program and you kick them out in general population and let them kind of go through their morphism to go back to a breeding gilt that's going to be a productive sow. And, you know, some handle it better than others, and I tell you, got a pair of Chester gilts out here that I know there is substantial size and age difference between them and maturity, but I think they resemble each other a good deal. You study each individual and you like where their foot quality is, you like their joints and their angles and their functionality. Obviously, the more unique option that we have in this particular setting is our big stout gilt that's just tremendous in her toes, tremendous in her pasterns, and I really compliment the young man on keeping a big stout gilt with a refined underline and attractive head and such good foot quality. Your older gilts, your champion Chester today. Let's give him a nice round of applause. I think for reserve it gets very close. Obviously the big gilt out here comes second in class. You know, intimidating in terms of her volume and substance. It looks like just a durable built Chester brood sow in the making. But bottom line, this lightweight gilt or younger gilt hit me very, very hard in class. I think she's got extra good qualities about her. The intangibles are there to be a great sow long term. Your younger gilt's going to be your reserve Chester today. Give them a nice round of applause.
Your champion Chester White Gilt went to Wyatt Copenhagen of Missouri. Your reserve Chester White Gilt went to Leif Benavides from Texas. Rounding out your top 5, and 3rd overall was Selah Salmons. 4th overall, Selah Salmons from Texas. 4th overall was Alexis Hernandez from California. And 5th overall Chester White Gilt, Annalise Perez from California. Let's give those exhibitors a round of applause. Now in the show ring is Class 5 Duroc Gilts. This class age range is from July 9th to August 3rd.
Second class, Duroc Gilt. First class, second class, Duroc Gilt.
If you had a top 5 in breed for the Chesters or Burks, could you make your way to the announcer stand, please? If you had a top 5 in breed for Chesters or Burks, make your way to the announcer stand. Also, if you won your classes 1 through 4, if you could come up to the announcer stand. All class winners from class 1 through 4, please come to the announcer stand.
No, that's fun. We have a lot more lines. I just thought it was really funny that people thought.
Oh yeah, those are mules.
Third call, second class, Duroc Gilt. Third call, second class, Duroc Gilt.
Again, I'd like to recognize some of our sponsors for the 2019 Arizona National Livestock Show. Show Blue, Titan Sticks, Weaver Livestock, Spence Auctioneer, and YGB Livestock Camps.
I'll tell you what, Berkshires were good. Upper end of Chesters I thought were solid. This is an absolutely great way to start our Duroc drive out here. We got two heaters that are vying here for first and second, and then we got a little bitty one over there that I think is in third that I think is really, really good and was going to be my class winner until these two hit the ring. And so I think a great quality out here, and I think it's close in my opinion. Just describing the two gilts, that the taller boy here got a sharp-headed, bold-bladed, big-armed gilt that I really, really like her spine and where it sets in her. When this gilt gets in motion, she's a nickel short her rump, and she'll tuck her hind leg up underneath herself. I want to let it go behind her just a shade, but that thing is boxy and cool. Looks like she wants to generate a red boar. Looks like she wants to make red bears that can compete at a high level. We look at the other gilt out here, a notch more extension everywhere, a little longer fronted, a little more, we haven't placed them yet, a little longer body, a little longer rump, and I like those extensions about her. You get on top of her, and I sure think there's still plenty of boldness and plenty of width with that particular gilt, and I think she allows her hop to go behind her tailhead a little more comfortably than what our other taller boy does. And so got a great pair of gilts. I think at this stage in maturity in their growth curve, I think the red cell that's got an extra gear is the young man here we're going to start with in the blue pullover. I think this young man's gilt's just got a little more extension everywhere, a little more comfortable off of her hind leg. The boy that's going to be second, as I said, that thing is boxy and stout, cool looking. That's a great pair of red gilts. Want to lengthen her step behind just a shade. Little one that's going to be third. I love this gilt. I tell you, mid-August, or if you want to get one ready to go to a Texas major or things of that nature in the spring, I think this gilt's built incredibly well. I like where her hock sets in her framework. I like her toes. Her hock is in just a little bit, and I think when you get to blowing on those kind of red gilts and open them up, I think that one will be really good. I don't think she'll ever be as cool-headed or sharp-fronted as the top pair, but that one's built for speed. I like her too. The gilt that comes next, bold, wide, stout, well-presented show gilt out here. A little soft on her feet on all four. Want to strengthen her pastern just a shade. Stout in her hind leg bone up just a little bit. Great shape, big upper rib, big pin set. Another good kind of a gilt. From there down, 5 through the remainder of the class, we get into some differences in terms of structure. Here's a gilt that gets around the ring just a little sore-footed up front. But I think a gilt with some width and volume need to strengthen her front pasterns. A gilt in 6 needs more rib and body. She's a little dry, she's a little refined, but I thought moved pretty good out here. The gilt that comes in 7, heavy bone, cool looking, just a little odd in terms of her hock, a little odd in her hind leg set. I want to stabilize that behind if we could. Big gilt coming next, just a little stilty on both ends, but a tall fronted, long body gilt with some muscle shape. The gilt that comes next, a little lighter color for me personally, but a big body, opened up gilt. Our final gilt just favoring the right hind leg there just a shade. Big and pretty, needs to be sounder behind. Great class, nice way to start our Duroc drive.
The results out of Class 5 Durocs. In 10th place, Peyton Otis. In 9th, Kimber Cone. In 8th place, Heather Cash. In 7th, Jack Owen. In 6th place, Maya Giannini. In 5th place, from New Mexico, Devin Calderon. In 4th place, from Texas, Leif Benavides. In 3rd, from Oregon, Lane McGurl. In 2nd place, from Missouri, Max Heimer. And your winner out of Class 5 Duroc Gilts, also from Missouri, Max Heimer.
First call, Class 3, Duroc Gilt. First call, Class 3, Duroc Gilt.
an interesting class to study through here. There's a little more variation in type and kind, and I think got a couple of really nice red sows. I think the class winner in terms of making those red barrows and competitive red gilts, stout, bold featured, boxy, and still balanced is the young lady here in the black vest. We're going to start with this gelding here, and I think her length of step behind is acceptable, and after that, she's the squarest built, stoutest featured one that's got some body shape, got some presence and symmetry from her profile. Gilts in 2 and 3 are red gilts that are bigger, longer, and I like their basic brute sow utility out here in terms of extension, and I wish the young lady could get a little better drive on this gilt here. I really like this gilt's basic function. I think she's complete, she's balanced, she's long, she's smooth. I think her forearm and front foot match her body mass acceptably well. I like this gilt for second because she's sounder behind than the young man's, but we need to just stouten her up just a bit, get her head up and collected and drive a little more comfortably because the gilt's sound enough to do it. Out here, she looks just a little flat in terms of her build. Young man that's going to be third, big muscle, big blade, opened up. When that gilt goes right away from you, her stifle joint will get a little outside her framework and she'll be inconsistent on how her hind leg drops out of the base of her ham. The gilt that comes in 4, initially I wanted to have second because this is the same frame size as our class winner, the same feature, but this gilt gets a little awkward the way she throws her hind leg and swivels out of her hip. I like her feature, I like her length of front end, a pretty interesting gilt. I need to stabilize that gilt's rear third of her skeleton more appropriately. I drove all the way down to 6 because this gilt right here I like, and this view right here I like on this gilt. I don't know about her hind leg. It needs to be stouter, then her right hock needs to work just a little better than what it does out here. Got the flat and fading on a frailer hind leg than what I'd like. Really a pretty sexy immature gilt coming out next. Needs a bigger skeleton, needs stouter feature, but a really nice gilt in terms of her top line shape and style. Got a big husky gilt coming out here. Little bull neck at the top of her shoulder. Want to freshen that up, and then all that pump and power needs more bone, needs more foot. We let the last couple roll out here. Got a heavy bone, wide, opened up one here that's not sound enough. Need to stabilize her in terms of hind leg. And our final gilt, just a little drier, a little more hollow gilt out here, but a gilt that's got some design and look up front. Class 2 red gilt's pretty solid. Once again, my compliments to the exhibitors.
The results out of Class 6 Duroc Gilts. In 9th place, Ellis McFarland. In 8th, Shayla Silver. In 7th place, Ricky Lofton. In 6th place, Allison Stonebarger. In 5th, Hannah Hawksworth from California. In 4th place, Andrea Thomas from California. In 3rd place, Lane Sheehan from California. In 2nd place, Marissa Sheehan from California. And your winner of Class 6 Durocs, Haven Steele from Arizona. Now in the arena is Class 7 Duroc Gilts. Those gilts age range from May 12th to June 7th.
Right here, or the brown and black in front of you started going at me. She just got pinned. She's gonna come back out from the top. There's 14 in this class. Sorry.
You had champion or reserve champion Burke. Could you come to the announcer stand and bring your registration paper? Champion or reserve champion Burke. And also, if you were top 5 of either breed, the Burke or the Chesters, and you have not come to the announcer stand yet, please do so.